Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to the yo-yo roller coaster experience that is the Bruning Law Firm post-game show after Missouri basketball games this year. Um, I thought 2:30 game. I can do this without having to stay up all night. They probably ought to beat LSU. LSU's not any good. Let's do a post-game show after this one because everybody can get together and hang out and it'll be all right. Yeah, not so much. We'll get into it. Before we do, comments, questions in the chat. We'll have your voicemails. Billy's loading those. Drew King's going to join us live from Baton Rouge. We might have to get back to blaming him for going to road games, or maybe we just admit that Missouri isn't any good when it plays in a building that is not Mizzou Arena. We'll get to that. But do want to remind you guys, as we are every single time we venture to do one of these shows, brought to you by the Bruning Law Firm over in St. Louis. Huge Tiger fans, fastest growing injury law firm in the state of Missouri. If you get in a situation, whether you're hurt at work, whether you're in an accident, whatever it is, if you get in a situation where you believe you deserve compensation, you need some help getting back on your feet, the folks at the Bruning Law Firm are going to take care of you and get you back to that position as quickly as they can. Reach out to them for a free consultation at 573-400-2796. Once again, 573-400-2796. Tell them you heard about them on Power Mizzou. That will do some good for us, and at least you and the Brunings can commiserate about the whiplash that resulted from watching this Missouri basketball season. It just came to me in the minute or so leading up to this show how to sum it up. So for the last 3 weeks, the kind of the common theme, what people have said about this team was the whole just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in, right? We've been going there. Illinois, you were done. You just accepted the fact basketball season wasn't going to matter. You were going to move on, all that. And then they roped you back in with a 3-1 start. And now today was the Jaws game. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. That was awful. You can't lose that game. First of all, LSU's not good. This is the worst team in the league. I don't think it's even close. The LSU athletic director, president, governor, I don't know who the hell's in charge down there, but whoever it is basically already said Matt McMahon's getting fired if he doesn't make the NCAA tournament. That team can't make the NCAA tournament. So you played as poorly as you could possibly play for 25 minutes. I mean, it's the worst offensive game I've ever seen out of a Dennis Gates team in 4 years. You deserve to be down by 25 points, but you were playing a team that wasn't capable of getting 25 points ahead of you. So they let you hang around, and it was 10 and 12 and, 9 pretty much the entire second half. And then you make this little 10-3 run and you get it back to 3. And then you give up baskets on 6 straight possessions. I mean, part of it is you can't start 10-0 because then you spend the entire day trying to fight back. But like, you were there. LSU was begging you to win a game you had no business winning. And you just couldn't do it because every time you got in a position to do it, you said, nah, we don't want this one. Please, LSU, we want to make sure you win a basketball game in the SEC this year. And finally, Missouri did so much to give it to LSU that LSU just said, okay, it's fine. We'll take it, and made some shots and walked out with the 78-70 win. So last Saturday, actually, we were on here after the Ole Miss game. And I kind of said, guys, it's not that big a deal. It's a road game in the league. AJ Storr and Malik Dia played really well, and you miss free throws and it happens. I'm not going to be as measured with this one. Like, I just wrote on Wednesday night after the Auburn game, and Scott Fitz, we'll get to your super chat in a minute because I agree 100% with you. I said after the Auburn game, like, the expectations have changed. This should be a tournament team. This is now a disappointing season if you don't get there. You can't come out the very next day and just no-show, or the very next game and no-show and pull. Like, this has been 4 years, and I finally think, and not finally, because I've thought this before, but it really crystallized for me why I think the fans are so frustrated with Dennis Gates and why he gets, the amount of blame and anger that he does. Because it has been 4 years of yanking the rug out from the fans. It has been 4 years of every time you get a little momentum, every time something good happens, every time Lucy pulls the football down and tells Missouri fans to come kick it, they just yank it away. And I'm not blaming Dennis Gates. Like, tactically, I don't think the loss was really Dennis Gates' fault today, and I'll get to why. I mean, he wasn't perfect. That's not me saying he was perfect. He made some mistakes. I wrote about it. But like, largely this was a player loss, but it is his team, and it's been 4 years of, hey, this magic carpet ride, and you get to the tournament and you win a game, and then you lose to 15 seed Princeton. And then still a ton of momentum coming off that year, and everybody feels real good, and 0-19. And then you have this bounce back season, and you go from 0-19 to the NCAA tournament, and then whatever it was you did against Drake in Wichita last year. And now you're 3-1. You've beaten Florida, which looks like the best team in this league. You went on the road and beat Kentucky, which I understand Kentucky's not great, but like, they won at Tennessee today. They won at LSU last week. They still have a shot to be a tournament team, and you won a road game there. Then you come home and beat Auburn, and then you go do this. It is just nonstop. Here's the football. I promise, Charlie Brown, I'm going to let you kick it this time. And you still didn't get to kick it. And you know by now, like, the difference between you guys and Charlie Brown is, you're not going to get to kick the ball. You expected this, probably. A lot of you did, because we've seen it before. I didn't. I thought this team was going to win this game. All right, let's get Scott Fitz's super chat back on the screen, because this is why I say it wasn't like a tactical Dennis Gates loss. He just says, this team has a bunch of guys who just don't do anything. Like, I'm just going to look at the box score, guys, and I'm going to run through it. I'm going to start from the bottom up. Nick Randall, he tries hard. He's no offensive threat at all, but like, he tries hard. He looks like he's not ready to be really on the court in the SEC yet, but he tries hard. Sebastian Mack, I don't know. He came out of the witness protection program for 2 minutes today. Trent Pierce, good player. Like Trent Pierce. He's a positive. And Trent Burns played 6 minutes, has 0 stats. Like, 7-5, not one rebound fell in your hand in 6 minutes. Like, he was in the game at one point. He's 7-5, and they didn't even have him on the free throw line to rebound. There's, I don't know. He takes up minutes when other guys are in foul trouble. Honor Boateng, just no threat offensively. He took one shot, he missed it. That was his entire stat line in 6 minutes. He did have a foul. T.O. Barrett, he did 4 assists, 5 rebounds, scored 11 points, double figures for the second straight game. Largely this was a positive game for T.O. Barrett, but 5 turnovers and just so many driving in the lane with nowhere to go, because he can't shoot the ball. It's weird. He's a good free throw shooter, but he cannot shoot the ball from 15 feet. I mean, the other team doesn't respect it. So every possession is driving in the lane and either passing or shooting. And that's good. But when everybody knows you're going to do it, all you got to do is pack back in there. And a lot of times it doesn't turn out well. Jacob Cruz, look, he has to shoot well to mean something to this team. And he hasn't shot well in the SEC. He's 1 for 4. And I think it's like, at this level, with this level of athlete on the other side, I don't know if Cruz can do it. Mark Mitchell, not a good game today, but Mark Mitchell's a good player, right? He's good. Jaden Stone, 20 points. He's the second best player on this team. So Stone, Mitchell, Pierce, I'll give you that. Sean Phillips, 6 of 8 from the line. That's awesome. And he's not, I've seen a lot of people say he's worse than Josh Gray. He's not. He's the best big man Dennis has had. He's frustrating. There's too many turnovers. I I thought when Missouri was trying to make a comeback, a couple possessions where he just kind of played traffic cone defense, and gave up buckets. Like, he's not awful, but the mistakes counteract a lot of the good. And that gets us to the top of the box score. Ant Robinson. Guys, I'll tell you what I said in instant reaction. I said, I think we're waiting for something that just isn't going to happen with Ant Robinson. When he's good, he can be really, really, really good. It just doesn't happen all that often. It's happened like 3 times this year. The beginning of this season, the hope at the start of this season was largely based on Mark Mitchell's the cornerstone, and Ant Robinson is one of the best supporting players in the SEC. He just isn't, guys. He every now and then he is. He had 4 points, 1 for 4 from the floor, 2 rebounds. Dennis Gates, 3 turnovers. Dennis Gates benched him for the last 15 minutes of the game. Like, Dennis Gates came to the same conclusion I did. I can't keep watching this. I can't keep trying to squeeze something out of this rock. It just. So I think going forward, the way you watch Ant Robinson is be happy when you get the good ones, because the good ones are fun as hell to watch. When he is good, he's an unbelievable player to watch. But they just don't happen often enough for you to count on it. So that leads me to my point, and to Scott Fitz's point. We went through everything, and like, there were multiple times in that game I'm looking on the floor going, what is this lineup? But like I've said all season, then you look at the bench and you go, well, who's he supposed to bring in? Like, I would play Trent Pierce, Mark Mitchell, Jaden Stone 38 minutes a game, or however many they can play until they tell me I have to get a break. Beyond that, I don't know. Pick 2. I don't know if it matters. I mean, sometimes T.O. Barrett, sometimes Ant Robinson. I don't know. You've got 3 players, and it's really going to be difficult to put together anything consistent with that amount of talent. And again, we come back to Dennis Gates, great recruiter, not a good coach. But is he a great recruiter? Like, guys, great recruiters have good talent and have good teams. Okay, he got Honor Boateng, who was ranked number 31 in the country. Well, that's on the people who ranked him number 31. Like, he's not a good player right now. That doesn't, I guess, mean he can never be one. Ant Robinson is actually about what he was supposed to be coming out of high school. He's a 3-star kid. Mark Mitchell is about what he was supposed to be. High 4-star kid, McDonald's All-American type. He plays that way. Trent Pierce looks like maybe he's becoming a little more, but I always hear this great recruiter, not a good coach. Like, based on what? Like, based on star? We have to quit assessing every single opinion we have of college sports on stars. Because if the guys at 24/7 and the guys at On 3, and I like them and I'm friends with a lot of them and they work really hard, if they don't let them pick your team. Because if they were that good, they would be the coaches and the GM. Somebody would have hired them to do it. The coaches should be better than we are. So I think we have to stop assessing, well, he's a great recruiter because this guy had stars. I don't think it means, and it's not just Dennis Gates, it's everything. Great recruiters have good teams that win games. STLMIZ says winning on the road is hard, should have won, it's going to be okay. The SEC, I'm kind of convinced that if every team in this league might just finish 9-9. No, I think LSU is worse than that. I think Vandy and Florida and probably Alabama are better than that. So everybody's not going to finish 9-9, but you get my point. I mean, this league on any given day, but that one should leave a bad taste in your mouth. I did the it's going to be okay. It was just a road game against Ole Miss, and I believed it, and I still believe it. Not this one. You guys should be irritated by this one. This was an awful game. Josh Randall says Stone, Pierce, Mitchell, Ant or Barrett, Cruz or Phillips. That's your only rotation. Yeah, pretty much. I agree. It's difficult to win that way, but that's kind of where you're at. Figure out if Ant or Barrett is going to play well and go with that one. And Cruz and Phillips just switch based on if you want to be tall or not quite as tall. That's pretty much it. You've got 7 guys that you can't count on them every game. You can count on 2.5 of them every game. The other 4.5 are just kind of you hope you get something out of them, and if you don't, then you go to a different one. But that's where you're at. You've got a 7-man rotation, and it is it's a very frustrating team to watch because the first half the offense was as bad as I've ever seen, and then the second half the defense just abandoned them. And LSU deserves some credit. Yeah, there were some bad calls and all that, but every time they had a chance to kind of make the play that finally turned the corner, they didn't do it. And that is frustrating. And I'm not into getting on here and saying it's okay. It's just a road game. Yeah, I mean, it is a road game and they do happen, but that you can make the tournament losing a game like that. No question you can. I mean, sure, but I don't think the goal is just kind of sneak your way in, right? You want to have a chance to do something. And this just doesn't look like a team. This looks like a mediocre basketball team. And mediocre teams can make the tournament. But this is what happens when mediocre teams go on the road. They get beat by not very good teams because home court advantage makes a big difference to them because they do things like don't make a shot for the first 5:46 of the game. They shoot 43%. They only make 6 threes. They get out rebounded. They turn the ball over 12 times. God, it seems like so much more. Here's another thing, though. Remember when Dennis Gates' defensive system was they're going to take the ball away a whole lot? LSU had 7 turnovers. I think Ole Miss had 7 last week. This is a team that, like, it's very different than his first 3. And to some extent, I give him credit for that, for adapting it as he's going. Like, he's not just forcing this team to play the same style his other teams have because obviously they can't do it. But it's a much slower team that needs to be much more efficient. The numbers are down offensively and defensively, but they don't really take the ball away. Everybody says it's not a tournament team. It might not be, because I'm not guaranteeing you anything. We're squarely on the bubble before today, and I think this is probably a quad 2 loss. I don't know where LSU was ranked in the net and stuff, but because it's on the road, I think it's probably quad 2. But like, this loss does not disqualify you from the tournament, and this is where this team is so frustrating. Because they beat Florida, which is the best team in the league, I think. And then they go on the road and they beat Kentucky and they beat Auburn, which is like having a disappointing season, but is very talented. And then you just go do this. So the upside is there to be a tournament team. And this is where I try to talk a little reason into you guys and bring a little balance to it, because every win is, oh my God, we're great and we're going to the tournament. And every loss is, oh my God, we're not. Like, it doesn't swing every single game. But this one hurts pretty bad because if you can't win in Baton Rouge, well, I was going to say, where are you going to win? Well, the answer is Lexington, Kentucky. So I don't know. But like, this was a chance to get a road game. LSU's not a good team. You can see their Ken Palm. I don't know. I can't read where they're at overall. Not good is where I would rank them. Worst team in the SEC is where I would rank them. And I understand that Missouri was. Hang on. Does that say they're 43rd in Ken Palm? I may not be reading that right, but I think I am. I don't know. Whatever. Okay, LSU 55th in Ken Palm. Whatever. Point being, LSU is not very good, and Missouri gave them a game that LSU tried to give away. And Missouri wouldn't take it. Missouri just kept giving it to them until LSU finally took it. And this one's bad. And Like, if you want to pile on Dennis Gates for it, go ahead. I absolutely, like when you are the head coach, um, you get the blame, and so I'm fine with that. I mean, I don't want to do the everyday back and forth. He's the greatest coach ever. He's the worst coach ever. But pile on him for this one. Pile on all the players too. I just did. They earned it. You lose this game at LSU, like you earned that. This was ugly and costly, and I feel like it's at least the second one this year. And if you want to say third, if you want to throw Ole Miss in there too, you can say third. But it's at least the second one this year where it's not hard. You don't have to squint to get to the end of the year and go, yeah, that one really kept him out. Drew King was in Baton Rouge. He looks happier than I've been in the last 20 minutes. Drew, that was awful.
That was a rough one.
That was truly one of the worst basketball games I've ever watched.
Fair, yeah. It was rough.
What was the explanation? What did they say afterwards?
So the explanation on the non-10-second call was just.
I just meant for the game, but yeah, you can.
For the game. So Gates said, like, obviously, offensive rebounds killed us today. Second chance points killed us. Turnovers killed them today. And then, like, he said, like, every time we went on a little bit of a run, LSU made a big basket. We couldn't get the stop we needed. So, credit to LSU, and that was pretty much the gist of it.
And like I wrote at one point, I said, like, you can call them circus shots, and there were some tough shots that LSU made, but the common theme here is every time you had to get a stop, you couldn't get a stop.
Yep.
Every time. You got it back to within 3, and they scored on 6 straight possessions.
Yeah. Tough to win games when, like, your best players don't show up. And I felt like that's what happened with Mizzou today was Mark Mitchell didn't really show up. Ant Robinson definitely didn't show up.
Okay. Can I interrupt you real quick?
Sure.
I'm starting the movement that we stop including him in Missouri's best players.
Okay.
I mean, how many times has he shown up this year? 3?
Yeah.
4? This is game 17, 18. I mean, I wrote an instant reaction. I said, we keep hoping for something that just at this point, I'm ready to say is not going to happen. Just be happy when you get the good version. But like, he's the 4th best player on this team. I count more on Jaden Stone and Trent Pierce at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about it like that. But the thing is, like, Ant does a lot of other things well other than score, right? Like, he's still a really good defender. He's been their best playmaker. He does bring a lot of energy. And he has had games where, like, maybe he doesn't score 10, but he has 9, But yeah, he was just today he was unplayable. Minus 12 in 16 minutes. I asked Dennis Gates, like, why did you go away from him in the second half? And Dennis just said, like, well, I thought T.O. Barrett was playing well, and I wanted to get him more minutes. He didn't want to say anything bad about Ant.
That was not it.
That's a non-answer, but yeah, might have been one of, if not the worst game we've seen from Ant Robinson in a really long time.
Yeah, no question. Billy, if you can hear me, if we can get that old box score off the screen. I think we've got the wrong game up right now. We've got the Ole Miss game up, and I can't figure out how to click the right button to take it away. So let's I don't know if we can get that off. I know you're doing voicemails and all that, but
the right one's up now.
Hear us. Okay. There we are. Okay, so we talked about Ant, but like, look, I'll give Mark Mitchell an off day. Everybody gets an off day. He had a couple cheap fouls. It's fine. it happens. Jaden Stone was really good. Trent Pierce was overall fairly solid. That's all he can count on. He's got 3 guys he can count on. Everything
Yeah.
else, I don't know, man. See what happens that day. Jacob Cruz hadn't shot the ball well all SEC season. I think it's fair to wonder if he can do it against this level of competition. Sean Phillips, for everything he does that you think is good, he turns around and does a thing that hurts you.
I thought he was
You
fine
know,
today.
even he was
I thought Sean was
he,
good.
he was fine. But like offensive rebounds and interior defense at some point comes down to him too. You
Yeah.
know, and like he's not. I'm not saying he's terrible. You can't count on. You don't know, right? Like coaches want to know when they put guys out there what they're going to get, and I think they've only got probably 3 guys they feel that way about, which makes it tough to know what to do with the rotation. Now, you and I texted a little bit. I think he's got to figure out how to stop doing this. Ant and Mark come off the floor with 14 minutes left in the first half. And I mean, we look up and it's Honor Boateng, T.O. Barrett, and Nick Randall. Those 3 guys can't play together because not one of them is capable of making a shot beyond 4 feet from the basket. Like, you can't have those 3 guys on the floor together.
Yeah, and today I felt like it was more trying to send a message to those 2 after giving up like the 10-0 run to start the game. I don't know that was the lineup that I would have gone to, but
Right.
I kind of understood why he wanted to make a move. But like you said, like the issue is I don't know that you have enough options that you can afford to send a message like that. Like you kind of needed Mark Mitchell on the floor in those minutes because every time Mark Mitchell came off the floor, Marquel Sutton was lighting you up. So yeah, like that wasn't the best move out of Gates. But again, like they've got a 7 deep rotation right now. I think T.O. Barrett has established himself enough. But yeah, I mean, Jacob Cruz, I feel like he's been kind of skating under the radar recently. Like they haven't gotten hardly anything from him the last couple of games.
If he's not making threes, like the defense kills you, man. And it killed him today.
Yeah. And he did get 5 rebounds, but it was still in a game where Mizzou missed a lot of shots and LSU still got a ton of putbacks. So like 5 rebounds is nice. It really should have been like 7 or 8 from Jacob Cruz, right? It needed to be a lot more from everybody else. Yeah, I mean, like this was just it was the worst game they played since Illinois. And it was a game where like they needed this one. Like the schedule isn't getting much easier than an LSU team that had lost 4 in a row and didn't have its starting point guard and didn't have its starting power forward. Like these are the games you have to pick up to get to that 10-win threshold we could keep talking about.
That's what I said. The Ole Miss game, I was willing to go, hey, on the road, you miss free throws. Those games happen. I'm not giving them that pass for this one. Like this is one that this is crushing. This is, and I'm not saying it keeps them out of the tournament, whatever, you know, but the frustrating part is you can go to Kentucky and when you can do what you did against Florida and Auburn, and then you can do this against a team that I'm convinced that LSU team was trying to mail it in. Like they were done. And you just finally force them to take it from
you. It wasn't all that dissimilar from the Kentucky game. The difference was LSU didn't gift them the same mistakes in the last couple of minutes there, right? In fact, Mizzou had one call that went the other way where it was a 10-second call. The ref said it was an inadvertent whistle and LSU ended up keeping possession. So sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way in those circumstances, but there were a lot of other opportunities for Mizzou to take control of this game, and they never did.
Yeah. All right. I want to get your reaction just to kind of what my main point was starting the show, and then we'll take a few voicemails. Said and I think we talked about this some last year, but it really hit home again today. I think the frustrating part for Missouri fans, and a big reason that Dennis Gates takes as much heat as he does is that every single time this program has taken 2 or 3 steps forward, they just immediately yank the rug out. Like, people were just starting to feel good. And all you've got to do is go beat the worst team in the league when they're not even playing all that well. And you just completely yank the rug out from them again. It's like, it's not even 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's like 2 steps forward and fall to the bottom of the stairs, and you got to start all over again.
I wrote in my column yesterday, like, nothing that this team does for the rest of the season, good or bad, is gonna surprise me anymore. Like, they could very easily go 6-12. They might also go 12-6. They're not gonna go 12-6 playing like today, but like all of that is on the table for this team. Like, we've seen them beat a Florida team at home that's looking outstanding now, and we just saw them lose to the worst team in the league. So the consistency of the team absolutely has been a huge question mark in the Dennis Gates era. I got some leaf blowers coming by me. I'm gonna let you talk.
I was wondering what was going on back there. Yeah. All right, Billy, let's go to a couple voicemails and let Drew get out and do the yard work down there in Baton Rouge.
$65,000 a year. I don't even have a license. Never been to Italy. T.O. Barrett plays basketball like a weeble wobble.
I think most people are going to say T.O. Barrett played really well today, and he is hard for me to figure out, man, because it's the same play on every possession. Like, he's never going to shoot the ball, so it's always going in. And like, he was pretty good, but he also had 5 turnovers and went 3 for 8 from the field. Like, he was their best point guard today. But you get point guard play, like, if that's your best point guard, you're never winning a road game.
Yeah, and Tio's young, right? Like, he's still kind of stepping into a bigger role this season, right? I don't think he went into this game expecting he was going to play as many minutes as he did. And yes, he's kind of a one-trick pony offensively, but a lot of times it's what the team needs, because like, Mizzou was not getting a lot of looks at the rim today, and T.O. Barrett just kind of forced his way in there. So I wouldn't say he had like an awesome game today, but he gave the team something.
He wasn't terrible.
It didn't have, and I think it was an encouraging game out of T.O. that you can get that, and I think the more he settles into it, I think you'll see some of those turnovers calm down.
So this just occurred to me. The next game is what? Georgia at home. Is that right? I would start T.O. Barrett. I would 100%. I would just, like, you want to send a message to Ant Robinson, send a real message. And I understand, given Ant Robinson's history, that has the possibility of tanking him for the season. I don't think it's impossible that I would send the message. I would just say, T.O.'s the starting point guard. You're going to come off the bench. We'll see how it goes.
I just feel like we've never really seen Dennis Gates do that to one of his
You're probably right.
better players, right? Like, we never saw Nick Honor get taken out of the starting lineup. Like, if you have Dennis Gates' trust, and I think Ant Robinson does, he's not really going to turn away from you. He did today, but I don't know that that's going to be a regular occurrence.
That's what I was going to say. How many times have we seen him bench a guy for the last 15 minutes of a game that was winnable, right? I mean, they were in position to, I said with 5 minutes left, they should win this game. Like, they had gotten it down to whatever. They should win this game at this point. And Dennis still didn't go back to him. I thought that was a pretty strong message. I'll be interested to see if it carries over. I'm with you. I don't think it will, but I'll be interested.
Move I would also make is like putting Trent Pearson over Jacob Cruz. Like, that's a starting lineup change that you almost have to make, because you're not getting all that much out of Cruz right now. I would shake things up for sure.
I would play Pierce, Mitchell, and Stone. Like, I would literally say the only time you're coming out of the game is when you raise your hand and tell me you have to have a break. Other than that, you're out there all the time. And then I'll figure the other 2 spots, I'll do the best I can to figure them out. All right, let's go to the next
Bad
call.
idea.
Bill.
Yeah, something else I noticed this week is we had some assistant coaches on Twitter really tooting their own horn about being on some 30 for 30 list. I don't think it's a coincidence we came out and played like crap today. I remember earlier in the year, I think it was the Notre Dame
Cut it
game that
off. I'm not going to listen to that. First of all, I have no idea what he's talking about, but whatever got tweeted on Thursday didn't impact. Drew, do you have anything to say? I'm out of things to say about that. I don't even know what it's about.
I don't know that it was the assistant coaches tooting their own horn. I think they got named to a list. It was the top 100 most impactful high major assistant coaches list, which I feel like is all of the high major assistant coaches. Like that's
Right.
100 of them.
It's 1.5 from every team.
Right. They put out like one graphic for Kyle Smith Peters and Steve Wright. So I don't know that had anything to do with today's game.
Well, I mean, I think clearly that at least half of the 6 minutes they did not score were due to each of those graphics. That makes sense. All right. Let's go one more voicemail.
M to the I to the Z. M I fucking Z. What? M to the I to the Z. M I fucking the Z. Oh, you. Let's go.
Cut it off. We're done. No.
Oh, I kind of liked it. Like I kind of want to know, just like, at what point do you go, hey, this will be a good idea, this is what I should do, into my phone for
this will get the people going.
It's a bizarre thought process, man. I'm not sure what happened there.
Sorry, my guy, you're not
Gabe,
making it to Hollywood.
Drew, Caleb is calling.
Okay.
You don't know my name. I just wanted to say my name. I have $53,000 annual salary. I drive a 2012 Honda Civic. This game's frustrating, but it doesn't end us. Heck, I mean, look, Georgia's giving business to Arkansas right now, and if we go to Mizzou Arena, which we play so much better in than on the road, and we get a win against Georgia, and then we take it against Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's not a good team, I think we'll be fine. I would like us to actually establish a streak for a chance, or for a change, I should say. But, yeah, I mean, you can't have Ant be a no-show and expect to win. Like, having T.O. play down the stretch limits our offense. And Gates was right to pull Ant because he was bad today. But, just win against Georgia, and we still have hope for the tourney. MIZ.
Look, this loss doesn't end the season. It doesn't end your tournament hopes. I know since they lost, everybody says they're not making the tournament. One game doesn't do that, but I don't know. Drew, I said I want to say they're a terrible road team, but they won at Rupp Arena like literally 10 days ago. You know, it's just I think what it is I think they're an average basketball team. An average basketball team sometimes are going to look pretty good and sometimes they're going to look pretty bad. And I think the explanation might really just be that simple. And average teams make the tournament sometimes, but like that's what they are.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of bubble team vibes here for sure. And they did win at Kentucky, but they almost lost at Kentucky
I
too.
know.
Like they caught some lucky breaks there. And like other than like Howard, they haven't won outside of Mizzou Arena otherwise. So yeah, I think that there is something to like this team struggling on the road, and like the thing too is like the Ole Miss crowd and the LSU crowd, like this ain't a full arena either. Like,
right.
It's not that big of a home advantage for those teams, and Mizzou still isn't really showing up in these games. And so I think what it shows is like they can't just show up at a road game. Like there has to be a sense of urgency, and I don't think that they really had that today.
Yeah, and that is a little bit on the coaches, right? Like, hey man, you just had this happen to you a week ago. It shouldn't happen a second time in a row. Like there should have been more urgency, better effort today, no question. All right, man. Just
Relief blowers are coming back, by the way.
I know you got work to do. I know they're doing yard work around you, but any closing thoughts, any wonderful wisdom you want to leave us with?
Trying to think. Jaden Stone was pretty good after the game. What's new though? I think. Yeah, I just think like kind of like you said, Gabe. It's not a season-defining loss, but it is like a pattern for this team. So I'm gonna go before I get blown away by the lead blowers. But y'all have a good time.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Have fun driving your truck car back to the Baton Rouge airport, whatever that thing is, and we'll talk to you later on, man. All right, Drew King live from the Pete Maravich Athletic Center. Appreciate him hopping on. Before we finish up the voicemails, want to remind you guys, if you're watching on YouTube, the information's been going across the bottom of the screen the whole time, but we are brought to you after every game that we do this by the Bruning Law Firm in St. Louis, Missouri. If you live in Missouri, Illinois, Kansas, and you are in a situation where you need some legal representation, some help to get back on your feet, to get back to work, to get back, to your life, the Bruning certainly can help you, want to help you, want you to give them a call for a free consultation at 573-400-2796. 573-400-2796. All right. We got a handful more voicemails. We're going to finish those up and flush this ridiculous, awful game from our systems.
Well, that was disappointing. I don't think you can really expect to win a game if Ant Robinson and Mark Mitchell have to sit on the bench for what seemed like most, if not half, of the second half of the game. Cruz, like, as hot as he was at the beginning of the year, he is ice cold now. It's a road game. We lost. It's not the end of the world, but this team relies too much on a couple of guys for offense.
Yeah, no question. It's a very thin team. Not a lot of options.
Gabe, I'll get to the game in a second, but real quick, $70,000 a year, 2021 Toyota Tacoma. The interest rate on my house is at 2.55%. Property tax bill was $11,400. Man, the Spurs TV timeout just happened. Mizzou's down 8-0. Damn, Gabe. It's just been ugly. Not a great day for me so far. I have to get my hot water heater replaced, and now Mizzou basketball is doing this to me. Come on, boys. Let's pick it up. I ain't got no hot.
Yeah, I got a hot water heater replaced 2 days ago. It was 3 days ago. Also, yeah, it's not awesome. They make you pay for it too. All right, let's go to the next one.
We may have one of the tallest college basketball teams in the country, but whenever we play zone, we cannot rebound. We may have one of the tallest.
Look, I think that's actually a good point. Like everybody talks about the size of this team, but like it doesn't really matter. I mean, Sean Phillips he turns the ball over, gets the ball taken away a lot down low. Trent Burns, we've talked about it. Like I don't know, he's not really a factor. Javon Porter's been hurt even when he was out there. Not a huge deal. Trent Pierce is 6'11", but like he's mostly a 3-point shooter. Like he's a wing. He's not a big man. So yeah, they're tall, but I don't know how much impact that size has.
Gabe, Drew, hope all is well. Starting to think that Drew may have sold his soul for that win at Rupp Arena because now the curse is back and bigger than ever. So that's rough for the brand. We'll say that there was a lot to like from this game outside of, the final. Coming back from a 14-point deficit to make it a competitive game. I think they got within 3. Obviously, you got to love that. T.O. Barrett, I mean, I love the way that guy hustles. I love the way he plays, but I mean, you can tell he's just still so raw. I mean, 5 turnovers and his decision making, it's not always there, but you can see the effort is always there. So I think that's awesome to see, especially looking forward into the future. Could be good to see pair him with Crow coming in next year. Sean Phillips, this team, I can't remember last time they had a solid big man, especially in the Dennis era. He was able to hit his free throws, looked like he tweaked his shot, so that's good to see. Um, but the biggest thing I have is this team really lacks like a Tony Perkins, someone who can come in off the bench and kind of just quiet the storm, especially like when Mark has to sub out, with his 4 fouls and, you have your studs off the court. This team doesn't have that guy who can come in off the bench and just kind of command the offense and be like, all right, let's settle down. We got this. MIZ.
Yeah, a lot of good points there. I think you are more positive than I am at this point in time. That guy was supposed to be Sebastian Mack, I think. And he played 2 minutes today, and it's the first time he's played in 4 games. There's just like, this is going to be very interesting to watch in the last, what do we got, 13 games of the regular season. I mean, I think Dennis is really going to have to pull some strings and do some smoke and mirrors and all that to get this team where he wants it to go, because there just aren't very many options. And look, if he's as bad a coach as all you guys say he is, he's got no chance to push those buttons the right way. But we'll find out. I think we maybe have one more call coming.
2007 Buick Lucerne with 68,000 miles on it, leather seats, unemployed. I stand in solidarity with Drew King. Get sweeps, don't get swept. I stand with you, Drew, and your quote. Thank you.
Now, to be fair, we did say at the beginning of or after the Ole Miss game, I said they need to go 1-1 next week, and they did. 2-0 was on the table, and 2-0 should have happened, but they needed to go 1-1. Next week, I kind of think they need 2-0. Georgia and Oklahoma are at home because it is a week where you have 2 home games. You don't have many of those, right? So Georgia, Oklahoma at home, you need that to be 2-0 because in 2 weeks you're at South Carolina and at Texas A&M. And look, I don't know that either one of those teams is all that good, but like the way this team is going, that could be an 0-2 week. Later on, you have a week where you have Vandy at home at Arkansas. That could be an 0-2 week. You've got to come up with some 2-0 weeks if that's going to happen to you. So this one hurt because like the opportunity. Let me say this. You had a chance to gain a lot by winning this game, and you didn't. I don't know that you lost a ton by losing this game. Like, it's a road game. You were 1.5 point underdogs. Like, you were supposed to lose all that. Now that's its own problem. But the upside of winning this game would 4-1, you'd have been tied for the league lead with 2 home games coming up. If you can protect your home court, you're going to be 6-1, and you're sitting there going, "Hey, man, we just need like 4 more the rest of the way to get this thing done." You gave one back, and you did it in pretty awful fashion. That was a bad basketball game to watch. And it was bad because not only was Missouri bad, but the other team was equally as bad and just got a few more breaks and calls and gifts down the stretch that turned it into a win for LSU and a loss for Missouri. I don't know. These are always a little bit shorter after losses, but that one was like, you got to get that one in the rearview mirror fast. You got to get to Georgia on Tuesday night. Georgia's a good team. Come in here kind of like Auburn did last week, right? Just blew out Arkansas at home. They're in the top 25. They've got some guys. If you don't show up, you're going to lose that game. It's probably going to come down to the last 4 minutes because every SEC game has come down to the last 4 minutes for Missouri. You're going to need more than 3 guys to show up, and you're going to need to make some plays in the last 4 minutes. See if they could do it. Hopefully they win enough to keep us interested to the end of the year and see where it goes at that point. Because I think this is going to be a weekly dance of did you do enough to be one of those 68 teams that gets an invite. I think it's going to be very close. You hope at the end of the year you don't look back at what happened today and say, if we win that one, this might look a little bit different. But appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Not the most upbeat show. Sorry I couldn't lift your spirits. Hopefully you enjoyed a couple of the voicemails and hopefully Drew made you feel better because I didn't have it today. So thanks for hanging out. One more time, want to ask you to make sure you get in touch with our friends, Joey, AJ, everybody else at the Bruning Law Firm. They are huge Mizzou fans. Look, this is kind of what we've always tried to do with our sponsors. If you're going to use whatever product it is, if you're going to drink a beer, if you're going to get insurance, which I hope you do, if you need a lawyer, which we hope you don't, but if you do, you might as well help one of your own, right? Help the Mizzou fans out there. That's what the people at the Bruning Law Firm are. They also are very good at what they do. They're going to get you back to your life. So give them a call, free consultation, 573-400-2796. Appreciate you hanging out here. Drop us a like, comment, whatever you do on the way out the door. Come join us over at Power Mizzou tonight. Who knows? Maybe some portal stuff happened in the last 3.5 hours while we were all watching terrible basketball. So let's go see what Sean and Cody have been up to. Appreciate it, guys. Talk to you next time.